Hi everybody, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the instant match reaction in Newcastle United's defeat 2-1 at St James's Park against Fulham. We deserved exactly what we got exactly what we deserved from the game. Nout is what we got, and we were absolutely pretty poor in all fairness, lethargic, useless, rubbish, sloppy. All the words I'm going to throw in here. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Just before we do, a little reminder: if you are new to the channel, hello, thanks for clicking that button and checking us out. Smash subscribe, help get us to the next milestone. We're so close. We're within a couple of hundred, I think, to the 10,000 mark, which would be amazing. We'll give you a mint prize giveaway as well once we get there. That's about the only mint thing I'm going to talk about today, because I'm going to talk about this game now, which wasn't particularly mint at all. So this is how we lined up today. Surprise, surprise, no changes from Eddie Howe whatsoever, apart from Mickey Almiron off the bench because he's gone over to Atlanta. And then you look at that bench and you think, really? You know, defender, unproven striker, defender that nobody, well, Newcastle don't seem to want, but everyone else seems to want. Joe Willock, Longstaff, and then Louis Miley, who still can't get in this team. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more detail in a minute. So we started the game quick, started fast. Joe Linton nearly gets a chance within 45 seconds. It's offside, but it's a good chance. You know, it's back and forth. It's end to end. It's, you know, Fulham are a good side. I said that in the preview. Fulham are a really good side. They've got some very talented players, and if they show up, they can be dangerous. I think Lewis Hall looked shaky at times in the first half against the the lathered up baby oil beast that is Adama Traore. He's funny, this player. He can either be class or shite. There's no happy medium for him, but he was looking quite dangerous. I think Hall was a bit nervous of his pace. Byrne was trying to help him out, but neither one of them two could catch Traore if they were probably riding in a Volkswagen Golf down the A1 trying to catch him. But we managed to keep him relatively quiet, and then we go in front of the game. In the end, it's Jacob Murphy on the 37th minute. It's a nice bit of play. Anthony Gordon just dips his shoulder, turns on the speed, legs it down the line, puts the ball in for Alexander Isak, doesn't quite get to him, and then Murphy smashes it in 1-0. And you're thinking, right, come on, Newcastle, we're 1-0 up now, let's go for it. But again, just so sloppy with the ball. I mean, Joe Linton was driving me nuts the entire game. Honestly, I was screaming for him to get hooked at half-time. He's looked leggy and tired for weeks now, absolutely weeks. And he keeps giving the ball away. All I hear from people is, oh, you'll miss his physicality, you'll miss his strength in midfield. He's a destroyer, he's a beast. The only thing he destroys is attacks for us at the moment, because he gives a fucking ball away. It's okay when you're playing against Man City or Arsenal, or something like that, when you're not going to have a lot of the ball and you need Joe Linton to rough people up, close them down, rattle them, get stuck in and all that stuff. But when we're playing against teams that are happy to give us the ball, you need a player who can use the ball a little bit better. And we've got an 18-year-old lad sitting on the bench who's excellent at ball retention, but Eddie Howe doesn't want to play him, doesn't want to bring him on. And I don't get it. Joe Linton, even when he has a stinking first half, he gets a needless yellow card. He was lucky it was just that, because he was going in some stupid tackles, winning the ball with his left leg, brilliant, and stamping on people with his right. You think, what are you doing? Bruno was overplaying. He was losing the ball quite a lot as well, and it was just daft. The best of the three for me was Sandro Tonali. I mean, he hit the bar with an absolute fucking raker in the first half. I wish that had gone. It would have been one of the goals of the season. It was an absolute melter of a strike. Clips off the bar. Isak, again, didn't get a lot today. It was quiet for Isak. Lovely touch in the first half and that spin. I think Mark messaged me and said, my God, if that defender hadn't got there, that'd probably be one of the goals of the season. But that was about the only chance Isak really hard, apart from the second half where he hits the bar as well. But then, they come back into it, Fulham. Raul Jimenez, again, I think it was shortly after Isak hit the bar. I think Raul Jimenez finds himself in the box. He had a few sitters before that. He had a few headers. He was getting close. I do like Raul Jimenez as a player. I'm really glad to see him back playing after that horrific head injury, it must be said. But Fulham didn't show up really in the first half, didn't really do much. I don't think they had a shot in the first half. But the second half, I think Silva put a real rocket up their arse, and they came out and they played as players off the park. I thought they were a much better team, much the deserved winner of the game. Jimenez strolls into the box. Nobody follows him up. He slides it into the back of the net, puts it in the bottom corner, and that's Fulham with the equalizer. And honestly, from then, I didn't think we had it in us to get a winner. I really didn't. I was actually worried. I said, this is exactly the kind of game that we could lose, and then we do lose it. Eddie Howe makes some substitutions, some poor substitutions. Did they come after the goal? I'm just checking there. So Muñoz scores in the 82nd minute even. Yeah, our subs came beforehand. It was Trippier and Joe Willock, who was fucking useless. I've said this before. Joe Willock is cheating as a player quicker than my fucking hairline. He just offers absolutely nothing when he comes on the pitch whatsoever. And again, people are living in the past of the Joe Willock of the past. Oh, he gets the ball and he runs and he gets you up the pitch. He doesn't do that anymore. He gets the ball and he loses it. He gets the ball, he takes a bad position. He misses that chance when he's in the box. Joe Willock is nowhere near the player that he used to be. Those injuries have taken a toll. He is not the same player that he was a couple of years ago, and we should get rid of him. We should have got rid of him before now and sold him and banked some money and spent it wisely to reinvest in the squad, because you look at that bench and there's nothing there to change a game when you're slipping behind like you are today, and you're getting well beat by a team that deserves to win. Trippier was nice and tidy on the ball, didn't get caught out of possession, but again, very safe, didn't really do anything in particular. No, he's not the Trippier he was a couple of years ago as well. Will Asula comes on and Louis Miley comes on with a 2-1 down after Munez gets the winner. It's a ball whipped in from Pereira. It's like a shot come cross. He just glides across the front post, toe pokes it in. Dubravka's already dived about 20 minutes beforehand. It's in the back of net. It's 2-1. And Fulham deserved this win. We were not good today. We were poor. We were sloppy. We looked lethargic. Poor positional sense. I lost track of how many times we had throw-ins, and everybody was static. Nobody moved. It was like statues. Nobody was wanting the ball. A few times I think Trippier was yelling, Byrne was yelling, Tina was yelling, where the hell is everybody? Why aren't you moving? And it just wasn't good enough. And again, this is the problem that I have with the squad. When I said the preview, I said I'd make a couple of changes, freshen it up, add some fresh legs to the team, and also keep people sharp for Wednesday. And he didn't do that. He kept the same lineup again, and it looked like a tired lineup. Outside of Southampton, that I could grab 10 of my mates and probably beat those useless bastards. That's how shit they are in the Premier League. Outside of that, last few games haven't particularly looked very good, but nobody seems to want to make any changes to this first team, even when they're hanging, they're leggy, they're lethargic, they're sloppy on the ball. Nobody seems to want to make any changes. Eddie Howe says we're shut for business. I've done a video about that earlier on today. You'll see that in the next couple of days. I'll give you my opinion on that. I think it's a huge gamble by the football club. There's nobody on that bench who can come on and change a game whatsoever when it's going up against you. There's nobody that can do that at all. And it's just not good enough. It's poor by the manager, poor by the squad, poor by the fucking hierarchy, not having players that can change that game. Even young players like Sanusi can come off the bench, and change things. It isn't good enough, and I'm disappointed. But I think we massively deserved the defeat today. We didn't deserve anything from that game whatsoever. For me, I'm not very happy about it. So we're going to get to your comments there and see what you guys are saying about this as well. Bear with us. I'm just keeping an eye on my cat who's nearly pushed the TV over. Talk about Mark's cat misbehaving. I might need to get and throw something at this cat in a minute. 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. I'm just going to try and kill this cat. No, I won't kill the cat. No animals were harmed in the making of this episode. So P. James is saying, sorry, we ain't getting nowhere near the Champions League. I can't disagree with that, with performances like that. Mark, I'm saying again, Howe's choice of subs cost us a game. Willock instead of Miley's fucking suicide. The only thing he did was miss a sit. I totally agree, Malcolm. I don't understand what Joe Willock is offering to come in to this team. We needed to keep a hold of the ball. I said this to Mark. If we kept hold of that ball, if he made the right sub, if he had a pair of nuts, anyhow, he would hook Joe Litton half-time because he was piss poor, and he would have had that three midfield of Tonali, Bruno, and Louis Miley, and the three of them could have just bounced little triangular passes around each other because they're all really good on the ball, and it would have burned Fulham out and would have left gaps for Isak to exploit, and he didn't do it. And he brought on Willock again, who offers absolutely sweet FA. So I'm really disappointed in that. Philip is saying awful result and performance, nowhere near good enough. Fulham deserved the win. Totally agree. Hyperbole. Oh, beg your pardon. I'll get you in a sentence. Scott Hyperbole saying, where has the magic gone? And Scott is saying, dog shit second half, pissing about with the ball too much. Once again, shame Tonali and Isak's balls hit the crossbar. They would have been unbelievable strikes, to be fair, if they both hit that. P. James also says, no man in the match would think they were all in a wank. If I had to do it, I would probably say Sandro Tonali, because at least he tried. He seemed to be everywhere on the pitch. He was trying to win the ball back. He was dropping in, defending for Schär, and Schär again. How many times is Fabian Schär going to try this fucking predictable crossfield pass to nobody, absolutely nobody? I lost track of the amount of times he got the ball, looked up, hit a 40-yard pass to fucking nobody. Anthony Gordon was looking at him going, well, who's that meant to be for? It was terrible. It was cut out every single time. It was either underhit or overhit, or Fulham scouted it. And why wouldn't they scout it? I could scout what Fabian Schär is going to do. every fucking time. It's predictable as anything. This is why we need another centre-back to mix it up with a bit of pace, a bit of mobility, somebody can do something else. But once again, we haven't sold players that we should have sold way before. We've kept on them for too long because of sentimentality, and now nobody wants to buy them for the fee we want to get for them. Piss poor by the club. That's a little insight into the video I did earlier on today. Insanity saying, getting fed up with his team now, aren't ruthless enough in the transfer window, and that's now shown on the pitch. Europe is slipping away. Well, thanks for your super chat, Insanity, and I totally agree with your point there, mate. Absolutely bang on the money. JV Addison is saying, I'm not sure what Eddie thinks about sometimes. Louis Miley should have came on and started second half. I can't get my head around that, JV. I really can't. We can't keep a hold of the ball. We're passing it back to the opposition. They've got dangerous players. They've got Smith Rowe. They've got Iwobi. They've got Traore. They've got Jimenez. They can hurt you on the break. So why are we giving them the ball back every single second? You've got this kid on the bench who clearly is good on the ball. Why not bring him on? I was in the Toon review chat. I'm not trying to dig Alex out. He was talking about, I don't think this game's right for Louis Miley's, with his physicality and his recovery runs and all that. I'm sorry, I can't agree with that from Alex at all. We needed to keep a hold of the ball, get a foot on the ball and control it. And that's what Louis Miley brought to the game. All Joe Linton was doing was giving the ball back to people. And that's not good enough. I don't care how big and strong he is. That's what he was doing. He was giving the ball away to a side that could hurt you. And they have hurt us. They beat us 2-1. And it just wasn't good enough, to be fair. Greg is saying, I can't see it, but really a right winger needs to come in. 100%. I don't understand why a right winger hasn't come in. It's just ridiculous. George is feeling generous, about as generous as our defences today. And he's given 5 Evermore memberships. Thank you, George. Really appreciate that. Tyson with the super chat. Go on, Chris. Thank you, Tyson. Really appreciate that, buddy. Tom was saying there are several players playing their last season in this kit, and boy, is it obvious. They should have been gone by now, Tomo. They should have been gone by now. Sentimentality by the manager by not moving them on. Should have shifted them on long ago. They're offering nothing. Willock is dreadful, absolutely fucking dreadful. I would rather see Sanusi come off the bench than Willock. At least he might do something. Joe Willock looks so shit now. So shit. That might make me sound like I'm being extreme. Everyone's going, oh, how can you say that? Joe Willock's been so good for us. Been so good for us. There's the key fucking word. Players regress. Players lose form. Players are not effective anymore. Mickey Almiron wasn't effective anymore. People are doing that this is your life thing for Mickey Almiron because he's moved on. Yes, he's had good moments at the football club, but he hasn't affected a game positively for fucking ages. And that's exactly where Joe Willock is. And people are saying, where's the game changers? I'll tell you where the game changers are. Injured. Callum Wilson, Harvey Barnes, and they're always injured or they're off form. And that's the problem. We have no depth in the squad to change games when they slip away from us. Fulham deserved everything today. We deserve nothing. That's exactly what we got as well. Philip Keir saying we can't afford to put that kind of performance Wednesday night. Well, I'm shitting myself for Wednesday night now. I'm going Wednesday night. The last cup semi-final I went to was one when Sean scored 2 goals against Southampton. So hopefully I'll be a good luck charm. But I'm really worried about the game Wednesday night now because that is a leggy bunch of players. And if Arsenal get a goal early on, they could be in real fucking trouble. There's no depth from that bench to come on and do anything in that game whatsoever. Our strongest 11 will start and our strongest 11 will probably finish. He won't make any changes whatsoever. And that frightens me. It really frightens me. I'd bring in Botman hands down. I think Botman will start on Wednesday night. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. I think it'll be Botman and Byrne. Share is awful at the minute, and I wouldn't put me anywhere near that game. I really wouldn't. Even if it was Botman and Share, I wouldn't do it. Honestly, I'd stick with Byrne and put Botman in there. Ricky D said he's fed up with Share and Byrne now, although Byrne's attitude can never be questioned. I mean, Byrne just lacks that bit of pace, Ricky. I think he, he's played really well this season, but his mind's willing, but his body can't quite catch up sometimes. But he will throw his head in front of anything, Byrne. So I think he deserves the start from that. Dave saying we're so reactive. Always too late to change things when it's obvious things are going pear-shaped. Well, that's Eddie. That's Eddie for you, mate. And nobody will ask him that question because the press are too pally with him. And you can't ask that question on social media. Holy shit, can you not? Because you get vilified. That's why I'm not on the fucking thing anymore. Certainly from Nevermore point of view, because I'm sick of it. It bores me to death. Lynn saying, Chris, do you think the club are engineering a way to get rid of Howe? I hope not, Lynn. I'd like to think if they were going to get rid of him, they would have got rid of him by now, without anything like that at all. No need for this kind of elaborate scheme. I mean, Howe keeps surprising us all. I thought his goose was cooked a few months ago. I really did. I thought that he's out on his arse, because nothing was going our way. Games were slipping away. Selections were questionable. He had no answers. Then he turned it around. He looked like he went back to the training ground, turned it around, put people in the right positions, put Tonali in the 6, which was transformative. And that's what changed the game. But we look leggy, we look tired because he hasn't used the squad that he's got. He hasn't made the changes, And yes, I know squad depth is poor, and I've just said that, but you could have started Trippier and Miley today and rested Tino and rested Bruno or Joe, for Wednesday night, keep sharp. I'd arrested Joe Linton and played him on Wednesday night when he's bang at it, aggressive, strong, right from the off, setting the tone, clattering into Odegaard or something like that. That's what we need for Wednesday. Didn't need Joe Linton going on scything Adama Traore today. Didn't need that in his game. It's lucky he didn't get a red card today, in my opinion. I'd have hooked him when he got the yellow card, personally. George is saying, Share makes me want to scream. He's done, George. He's too old. But again, Eddie wants a new contract for him. Sign a replacement centre-half. Go get Tomori. Go get Guehi. Go sign a right-sided centre-half who's got legs and 5-6 years ahead of him. Not 5-6 years, behind him. But that's unfortunately where we're at right now. Ian New saying, I totally lost faith in Joe Willock. Me too, Ian. I think he's finished. I'd have sold him ages ago. Again, another one, Travis saying, Willock has offered an out for a long time. Totally agree, mate. Being really poor. Christopher saying, why was Botman not playing today? I think he's resting for Wednesday, Chris. That's what I think. We know Shea hasn't been good enough. So why hasn't Eddie? Sentimentality and devotion to these players, these lads who have put it in for him. And I get that. I understand that. The Bournemouth fans said the same thing about some of the players who were underperforming when Eddie was there. He has this affinity connection with players that he can't get over, even if they're woefully off form. It's only if they get so bad off form that he has to make a change. That's when he makes a change, like the Longstaff and Tonali situation. That was clear to anybody that change had to be made. And he made that change. And because of that, we went on a positive run. The team looked better, more balanced. Tonali was excellent, excelled in the position. Bruno excelled in his, extreme close-up with the hand there. but that's what happened. But he's not doing it anymore. He's not doing it with impact subs. He won't bring on impact subs because he knows he's missing Barnes and Wilson. If Barnes and Wilson were there, he would have brought them on, but they're not because, again, they're always fucking injured. Tyson with a super chat. Thank you very much, bud. Appreciate that. PSR is an issue, but so is playing the same squad and keeping purple patch players and overplaying players that don't always get injured. Might as well just play the kids. He hasn't got the confidence or the bottle to play the kids, mate. That is the biggest problem with Eddie Howe. He's a good manager, good coach, no doubt. He's improved players. He's got great performances out of these lads, way beyond their levels. But I think there's almost an arrogance with Eddie Howe that he thinks, well, I've got them here, I can get them there. Sometimes they can only get to there, mate, and sell them when they're there, because that's when they're at the most sellable. And that's what other teams do, and we didn't do that. And that's why we can't spend. That's why Villa are signing people like Marcus Rashford, and we can't sign any fucker. And that's exactly where we're at, and the manager's got to take a blame for that. The magical summer war chest, we need some now, says Frogman. I mean, that is if the magical war chest is there, Frogman. Everyone's relying on that, but we wanted that for the last how many windows now, and it hasn't happened. So let's hope the summer is that kind of a thing. Chris was saying Miley scored against Fulham last season and played well. So how can Alex say it would have been too physical for him? I did wonder that myself. I'm not giving Alex stick, in particular. I like Alex, he's a good lad. But, sometimes when you say something like that, in a game like that, you have to back it up. And Joe Litton, the problem is with Joe Litton. Joe Litton is equally as bad on the ball as he is as good off the ball. And that's the problem. Between Miley and Joe Litton, it's the perfect player. Miley's great on the ball. Maybe off the ball, he's got a bit of work to do. But he's a young player. But Joe Litton is so bad on the ball. He loses it all the time. You don't even need to press him. He'll just knock a touch too far ahead of himself. You drop back 5 yards, you can get that pass, get that ball, and then start a counter-attack yourself. And I just think, for me, that's not good enough for Joe Linton in that midfield. You've got Tonali and Bruno, who are excellent ball players, great with the ball. And Joe Linton's job is to go box to box. It's great when you're playing against a team that has the ball a lot, because Joe Linton can smash it and then win it back and give it to Tonali and Bruno, who can start something. But when a team allows us to play and they want to do a little bit of back and forth, that's when Joe's weaknesses are exposed, because he's bad on the ball. We had players on the bench to change it today, and he should have changed it earlier. I think if he brings on Miley at half-time, we go on that in midfield three. First 5-10 minutes of the second half, we absorb the pressure, we pass it amongst each other, we run Fulham out, and then we hit them on the break. We might win that game. And I just think Eddie got it all wrong today. Absolutely all wrong. Johnson, 11 players can't be expected to play week in, week out all season. Where is the quality? Club strategy? Where is the board? Sorry, no one. A joke. An exodus is coming. If we don't get Champions League, John, there is an exodus coming, 100%. And all these people who have talk to you about PSR and FFP and try to talk to you like you're a fucking trainee mortgage advisor, they'll all be crying into their Twitter accounts at the end of the season if Isaac and Bruno and Gordon all fuck off the Champions League clubs because we've pissed it away. Hopefully we won't, but it's a huge gamble by the football club not to sign anybody. Real big gamble. George is saying the most depressing thing is that they had all week to prepare for that. Well, Mark said that to me. They looked so tired. And they had a week from Southampton. What the fuck happened? What were you doing for the week? I don't get it. And Fulham wanted that more today. There was no doubt about that. They wanted it more. They deserved it more, and they got what they deserved. They got the win. Credit to Fulham. Credit to Silva. Credit to their players. And the fans have travelled a long way as well. They'll be going back to Newcastle, celebrating over Port and probably, a nice grouse or something like that, because that's what Fulham fans do after all. But, they deserve the win, and we didn't deserve the win. And we can't show up like that on Wednesday. If we show up like that on Wednesday, we're fucked. And we don't get into the final. It's as simple as that. Comment there from Stephen saying, the thing is, Chris, I commented on your video yesterday saying I liked your team selection, but the manager never rotates. It really is a flaw. It's sad to say it's proven cost. I did see that, Stephen. You were absolutely bang on me. And that was my selection that I would have chose, not Eddie's. If I'd done Eddie's, I'd have done the same thing. I wouldn't have changed the team. So that's what he does. NUFC, as I say, so the club are telling us that we are close to PSR and we can't get one loan player in for 6 months. Excuses sell players when they have some value in them. Yeah, absolutely, mate. And they don't do it. And that's exactly the problem. Phil is saying if we concede the first goal Wednesday night, I'd be very worried we will lose, sadly. Me too, buddy. Week 2, we need to sit tight for that. Sophie B's in the chat, she's saying the players have probably seen there's no players coming in. They're thinking, what's the point? Didn't seem anywhere near their best. I do agree with that, Sophie. Absolutely. The complacency comes into a player when they don't think anybody's chasing them down. I mean, Jacob Murphy now, credit Murphy did work a bit hard today, as he always does. He took his goal well. He was up and down the line trying to make things happen. But Murphy will be sitting there now going, well, who's taking my place? Nobody's taking my place. They just sold the guy who could challenge me for my place, so why should I bother? Even if Sanusi was on the bench, Murphy might think, well, I better get my shit together today because this kid could come on and do something. But it's not going to happen. So it's a good point, Sophie, absolutely. Jay is saying, do you think this is a blessing in disguise? Maybe make them buy some players now. Well, it'll be a last gasped effort. It really would. I mean, the only thing I can think of is, players like teams like Chelsea who have a lot of players, in terms of the squad depth. I've said this before, someone like Madueke, you might think, I want some game time. Newcastle with a loan to buy, but a loan to buy costs money as well. We'd have to arrange a loan fee. If you remember, the Calvin Phillips loan fee was 4 million quid. The Jesse Lingard one, they want 12 million quid. So people want money for loan deals as well. And it might just be a case of we're not going to be able to do anything. Maybe we're waiting for some last-minute scramble deals. But the way Eddie was talking with confidence, I don't think he wants to get rid of anybody. And I just think for me, nothing's going to happen. Agent Tech saying Wednesday is more important. Arguably, yes, it is. Wednesday is a more important game out of the two. If we were to lose one of them, today would have been the game. Tech, absolutely. But the way we lost it today was disappointing. And that worries about the fitness and fatigue and the mentality of the lads going into Wednesday. That is a big concern. John saying Dean Howson for 12.8 million, but Chase 70 million Guehi all last summer. Eddie Howe has an obsession with English players. That's not without purpose, I think, that comment, mate. I think that's got a bit of validity to that, to be fair. Some great signings in the summer that we didn't move on. And I don't know why. Even Liam Delap scoring for Ipswich again today. We went for Willisula, same price. Why? Work that out. I'd love to hear from the scouting team just once to hear that, even though people say they don't deserve to tell us anything, or they don't have to tell us anything. But I'd like to know, where were you on Morgan Rogers for 15 million, who scored two against Celtic in the Champions League to get Villa through the knockout stages. We didn't get there, so Villa have got more money coming their way, in the next round of financial fair play. Philip saying Liverpool once again showing the mentality of Premier League champions, winning 2-0 at Bournemouth. Absolutely, Bournemouth on fire as well this season. Philip saying I think the club is letting Eddie down. He publicly said he'd like to sign everyone. I did see that. My original video was going to be that Eddie wants one more player, so what's the problem? And then he come out and said we're closed for business. So once again, what's happening with Mitchell? What's happening with those guys? Why aren't they giving the manager what he wants? Why aren't they giving him the support that he needs? Getting one player in every window. And that's the bare minimum, one player in window. At least it adds competition to the squad and gets rid of the complacency that Sophie talked about before. And I agree with you, Phil. FFP and PSR ruining football altogether. Ruining football fans as well. Fuck me. You can't even have an engagement with somebody about transfer anymore because they start talking to you like they're a fucking financial advisor. It's like trying to talk to Martin Lewis. It drives me up the wall. It really does. That's why I've come off the socials, because it just pisses me off to the back teeth. Just really winds me up. Terence is saying they weren't even great. They were just poor. Just disappointing, Terence, I thought. No fight for the game. Just really, really lethargic the whole game, really, in many ways. I mean, even Lewis Hall, who I think has been great this season, was very naive today against Traore. He looked scared. He looked worried. But because he's not got pace on the left-hand side centre-half with him, maybe that's why he was worried. If Botman had been there, we looked a bit sharp. I don't know. Stephen again said Lewis Miley is one to watch on the bench who might get the ball and thread a pass through to Isak, win it back on fire or fire it in from 20 yards. Why does Howe think Willock is a better shout? That's a very good question, Stephen, and one that I would like the press to put to Eddie Howe, rather than asking him what he prefers, Blur or Oasis, or what he thinks about drones, or I don't know what he thinks about the new stadium. Ask him that question. When is Louis Miley going to get more game time? He showed his quality. The fans are wondering, what's the situation with Louis? Just hear what he has to say. But no journalists ask Eddie Howe any questions anymore. There's just no balls anymore for questions to the manager, hard questions, apart from maybe one or two of them, and that's disappointing for me. Sean is saying it's the same old strengths, but also the same old weaknesses. Absolutely. Dr. Dill's saying, do you think Eddie is now focused on the Arsenal game? He certainly was with them subs, Dill, towards the end, because you could just see him bringing off players. Mark even said to me, why is he bringing off Lewis Hall for Lloyd Kelly? Fucking Lloyd Kelly, by the way. Lloyd Kelly, right? How do Juventus want Lloyd Kelly? Unless he cooks a mean risotto or something like that, honestly. I mean, fuck me. He's awful. He's terrible. Did you see that cross he put him when he overlapped? It was absolutely terrible. I couldn't believe it. He can't play left back. No chance, man. He's a left-sided centre-half and not a very good one at that either. So, yeah, awful. Absolutely terrible. I'll fucking drive into Whitley for you if they give us 12 million quid. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Wednesday either, Kit. I'm looking forward to being at the game. I'm not looking forward to the game itself. I'll be biting what little nails I've got left off. Stephen saying all of our defenders, bar Botman, and God help us, Kelly is over 30. It shows. Yeah, you're right, mate. Very old, aging out. Hooked on Fisher saying, love your honesty report today. All eyes in the cup semi-final. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. All eyes are definitely on Wednesday night, and that is a huge game. Arguably the biggest game of the season for us right now, I think. I know everyone's saying we want Champions League, we need Champions League, and we do. We need Champions League not just for the revenue, we need Champions League for keeping the best players that we have and growing and building the squad from there, going big in the summer, but knowing that the Champions League money will give us an extra bit of revenue for the next PSR window. We need that as well. So we need the Champions League in so many ways, but God, we need a trophy. Don't we, guys? We need a trophy. It's been so long since this club had a trophy. We're so close. If we get Liverpool or Spurs in the final, Liverpool are an excellent side. But you'd like to think the players and the manager would have learned from the last experience of the Carabao Cup final where they were nowhere near ready for it. They've even kept Dubravka, thought about signing a new contract, which I think is smart because if Pope's not fit for the final, at least you can put Martin Dubravka in there rather than a third choice goalkeeper like we had last time. Which costs us, I think, not digging Karius out. I felt a bit sorry for him in that game. Should never have been in that position at all. But I remember looking back at that strike and seeing in my mind right now, he should have got a stronger hand to it, but he was rusty as a keeper. It was unfair to put him in that position. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Chris was saying, Chris, are we getting a rant for you when the window ends? Because it looks like nothing will happen. Now, I've done a kind of semi-rant about Eddie saying we're closed for business. So that should be out in the next couple of days. I'm going on the Toon Review on deadline day, so I can't say I will not have a rant about the club making a massive mistake in gambling on fitness and form of this wafer-thin squad, Chris. So tune in for that, mate, with the guys in Toon Review. And if you want to donate to the excellent charities that they'll be raising money for, mate, that'll be double bubble class as well. Takoina is saying, has the referee cost us a second goal? The Ward and Dubravka were a fucking disgrace for the second two. The ref was poor, I thought, Takoina. Was it Gordon's free kick when he megs him and he gets buried? I think it was Pereira. That's a free kick all day long. There's some challenges on Bruno too that I thought should have been free kicks. I mean, but Bruno has to stop this overplaying and falling down and lying there looking up longingly at the referee for a free kick when the rest clearly fucked off and played on with the game. You can't do that, Bruno. You've got to get up and start playing again. That's what annoys me about Bruno Guimaraes. He's got so many good qualities, but that is not one of his better ones. Ian is saying if we can't sign players due to PSR, then sell somebody. Club knew this back last summer. That goes down to the manager for me, Ian, which I know you'll not be scared to say. The manager doesn't want to sell these players because he trusts them, he likes them, he's nurtured them, they've been with him right from the start. They're part of his, is kind of lieutenants, if you will, in the squad. But you have to move players on, man. You have to. Like Mickey Amram was never going to get better than he was in that purple patch season with 11 goals and 2 assists when he got us in the Champions League. Sean Longstaff was never going to get better than that season. He scored the 2 goals that got us to the cup final. These players were capped out right then, and we didn't cash in and sell them. And that goes back to Eddie Howe's sentimentality to keep those players. And that's not good enough. High-level management, elite management, you have to roll the dice. Cole Palmer at Man City, I don't think Pep wanted to get rid of him, but he did, and he had to, and he knew he had to get the money back in. Same with Alvarez. All these players that clubs have to trade and sell, you have to do it. You have to move them on because that's the way PSR and FFP is designed. Is it shit? Yes, it is shit. It's a terrible thing that's been invented to protect the greedy cartel clubs, but you have to trade. Eddie doesn't want to trade, and then we end up in a situation where we have to get rid of two really talented young players in the shape of Elliot Anderson, who's absolutely sensational for Nottingham Forest at the minute, and Yakuba Minter, who, yes, has been a bit up and down, but would he have given us something else from the right-hand side? Absolutely, he would have done. So, yeah, it's poor by the club and poor by Eddie Howe. But once again, nobody's asking them the difficult questions, so you won't get the answers. And that's poor from the media. Is that Liam K said, get rid of Kelly soon as the more he plays, the more the teams are going to think, fuck that. Yeah, he is really poor, mate. I don't know, 150 grand a week. Wow, good if you can get it, mate. Terence is saying, when we made no signings in the summer, Mitchell got some abuse. Then we gave him until this window. We are told no players are coming in. Why is Mitchell here? It's crazy. I said this... that's one of the reasons I just decided to moonwalk out of the socials. This overwhelming faith that Mitchell is best in class, as people keep referring to because of what he did at Southampton, Spurs, Leipzig, Monaco. He's done nothing here. Yes, he came in late in the summer window, so you can maybe cut him some slack, but all eyes were on Mitchell for this window, and he's produced nothing. He's sold players, but he's brought nobody in. Yes, the deadline's Monday, but do you honestly think he's going to bring anybody in? I really don't whatsoever. He's not promoting the youth players. I saw Craig Hope talking about this really exciting Spanish winger that we're going to sign, and I didn't get excited because to me it just looked like sign a kid for 10 million, hopefully loan him out. He's going to be class, sell him for 30 and bank the money. Now that's fine if you're spending the money on new players. People are talking about has been linked to FUL-WHAM in the summer, 60 million. If that's the first signing Newcastle make in the summer, brilliant. But if they don't make that signing, then they're screwed. And who's to say that Mbeumo's not going to have a big list of clubs after him? He could take his pick of clubs, Champions League clubs, if we don't get there. Why would he come to us? So, yeah, they really are playing with fire here, the club. They really are. Aaron saying Arsenal fans are already unbearable. If we drop a 2-0 lead, I'm going to be dark off social media. Absolutely, mate. Me, I don't think I'll ever go back on again. George is saying the point is good teams don't let poor referees affect the outcome. That's very, very true. They're coming there from a half century. I think maybe the month-long wait for the second leg has hurt us badly, at least in a mental sense. That's a fair point, mate. If we went straight into it, that momentum probably would have carried through. Johnson, rolling the dice and rotation is not Eddie's forte. Absolutely not. That is definitely his poorest point as a manager. And it's something that I think he really needs to work on. And he is a young manager and he can evolve. A couple of months ago, he was really struggling. The selections were a problem. The substitutions were a problem. The tactics were an issue. We were getting comfortably beaten from a lot of teams that really shouldn't have laid a glove on us. And he went back to the training ground and he sorted that out. And he showed us that he is a decent manager and he can evolve. He's got to do it again now because that's a couple of performances. Bournemouth, Southampton, even though we still weren't great. Today, that's 3 performances back to back. All eyes on Wednesday. Have to put a shift in on Wednesday. Have to step it up, have to get that result to get into the cup final. That brings back all of the goodwill, that brings back the positivity, the excitement. The lads will be up bouncing for it. If they can't get up for that game on Wednesday under lights at St James's Park with a 2-0 lead from the first leg, then there shouldn't be footballers. So hopefully we'll get the job done on Wednesday, guys. But that's me done, I think, pretty much for today. Thank you so much to all of you in the comments. It always helps this flow. If you haven't already, smash subscribe. Help get us to the next milestone, which is the 10,000 mark. We're only a couple of hundred away. So help us get there, guys. It'll be absolutely awesome. There will be an aftermath video coming out for this probably on Monday because we don't do the What's Going On lives every week again, as I said on the last show. So keep an eye out for that, guys, as well. I will be on the Toon Review on Monday night as well. So come in the chat. A lot of you guys are already viewers of the Toon Review anyway, and you come over to us from them. So thanks for that. So I'll probably see you on Monday night as well. And keep an eye out for my transfer rant about the window being closed. Have a cracking weekend. Don't let the result upset you too much. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everyone.